Here we are, guys. We made it to Thursday. Hopefully you've been following along and doing some of these great art projects with us together. First of all, let's do a shout out to our friends in 5th and 6th grade in New Orleans. They're joining us today. We've got the Success at Thorogood Marshall. Thank you guys for joining us. Also, we've got I Am Kids Tulsa yoga classes. They've got great classes online. You can check them out. Thank you for joining us, and shout out to them as well. Lastly, we have Miss Flummerfeld. She used to actually be my mentor art teacher, and she is teaching kids online as well art classes in South Korea. If you guys are joining us from wherever, this is our project today. It is called the Water Reflection Harbor Nights. You guys ready? Got your art supplies? You should have some markers. It can be washable or regular Crayola markers. And I just went ahead and used copy paper. Okay, you don't need cardstock for this. And what I want to do first is I take my paper and I'm going to fold it lengthways in half. Match up your edges and crease it. That's making a crease. When you open it up, you want the crease to be on the inside. You don't want it to be flipped this way. Okay, so it's folded like this, like you could do a book. And what we're going to do is we're going to create kind of like a silhouette scene. Okay, I went ahead and just printed a few pictures here to give me ideas of outlines of buildings, like a silhouette. We're not going to do ours in black, but we are going to do the outlines of a cityscape, okay? So what you're going to start with is whatever color you want. I'm going to go ahead on mine and do some blue. And the first thing I'm going to do is draw right on my crease with a blue line, okay? That you do want to do because when we fold it, that's going to be your water. Then you're going to go ahead and make your buildings. I just do a lot of up, down, angular, so I'm going to go straight up, over like this. That's going to create this building, maybe go way down to my line, go up, let's dome, over and down. Now I think I'm going to add some trees. So this is how I like to do trees. I just go ahead and make some green in circles. Let's do some bushes down low. Let's do a tree that's kind of taller. Let's fill it in, and some more bushes down low. All right, put some stem trunks in right on top. Let's do some more. Okay, that's going to kind of create the idea of having your trees. Now I'm going to change to well, I was going to do red. Yeah, let's do red. And let's do a building. Let's go ahead and make another tall, down, taller, because I don't want them to be symmetrical. Down and curved. Okay, that goes off to the edge. Now I think I'm going to go back and put in maybe a little bit of a black building behind it and do something tall behind, and maybe something like that, just to kind of give it some shape. Next thing is you want to color and fill these in. We don't want a lot of white space. White space is all of this space in here that is white. So you want to fill it in with your color. I like to also have with me either a white or yellow crayon, because we're going to do some crayon resist. Crayon resist means that wherever you put your crayon, I'm going to go ahead and make some windows. When it gets wet, what happens? The water does not go wherever that crayon is because the wax prevents it from doing that. So I like to put in some windows or lights like that are in the doorway, like a door is on or something like that. Put some windows in, and then that is going to resist the water that we're about to use. Okay, so I'm going to just put some in there like that. All right, I've got my yellow. If you have a white crayon, that's great. That works too. Let's go in and get rid of some of our white space. I'm using the flat edge, the beveled flat edge of my marker. That's how I can make nice wide strips, and it doesn't take me as long. All right, so I've got my cityscape. Now, it's not a silhouette, because if it was, it would be all solid black color, because like when the lights get dark at night and everything kind of looks outlined black, This you can actually see your colors still, but you want it to reflect into the water. Now we have to do our sky, okay? I've done a yellow sky here as one of them. This one, I did kind of a yellow fading up to a red. Let's see. We've got some different skies that we've done in the past. Here's one that is an orange fading up to a yellow. So let's do a yellow one because I haven't used yellow on here. And another reason I like yellow is because it all fades and you can't see any white spaces with the yellow. Okay, let's just layer a tiny bit of orange just to make it fade better. All right, guys. Now, once you have your outline of your city, that is going to fade when we go ahead and print it onto the other side. So I like to take a Sharpie, okay? I'm not using a black Crayola because that's going to fade. I'm going to use a Sharpie. That's not going to be affected by the water. You want that to stay. And I'm just going to very easily go around the outside of my city because these are the lines that I don't want to fade away. I'm even going to do my trees. See how I can just do it like that? I don't have to follow anything exactly. And I'm going to do the outside of my buildings. All right, guys. Oh, I kind of like having a tall spike like some of these do, so I'm going to add one of those real quick on there. Tall little peak. That adds some interest. All right, guys, are you ready? This is the fun part. Hopefully you have your water bottle. Set it to kind of a mist, a light mist. And what you're going to do is we're going to spray the top of this, and then you're going to fold it over on top of itself and press it down. Okay, it does get kind of wet and bleedy, so it does get on your fingers. This is a good time if you want to do gloves, you can. Otherwise, I like to have a piece of paper to put it on top of so that it doesn't get all over my countertop. All right, here we go. I've got this ready. I'm going to go ahead and spray it. You can see the paper starting to curl a little bit. You know, make sure you get all of it nice and wet. Okay, now I'm going to fold it right on top of where it was and press on that crease line, and we're going to see what our reflection looks like. All right, you can see it's fading through there already. Okay, now what's interesting about this is if you think it didn't fade enough, you can take a little peek and go, oh, doesn't look like it faded too much. I'm going to put a little bit more water and press it back down. So you're welcome to do that with part of it. Just make sure that it's lined up right, kind of where you already had it. Otherwise, it's going to make a double print and it's going to look bizarre. All right, guys, I'm ready to take a look at my harbor reflection. Are you? Let's take a peek at what it's going to look like. And I'm going to open it. I can see it's already printed. Oh, I like that. This is my reflection here into the water. Okay, now do you see where we outlined it in black? That helped keep my picture composed up here while it went ahead and reflected down here. Now, if you don't like that, maybe you've got an empty space on a couple of them, you can go ahead and just spray again, and you can print that one spot print, and it gets a little bit more color on there. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfectly faded through. It just gives you the idea of a reflection into the water. Okay, I love that project. Let it dry. When it does, it will be ready for you to hang up. It looks really good if you put it on top of another black paper to kind of mat it, and that gives you your reflection. Have fun with those, guys. You can do a lot of different designs and anything that you want to reflect into the water, it works out really well that way. That's pretty neat with the markers. All right, I wanted to give you a little bit of time to clean up from that last project before we start preparing for our Friday project. If you had an opportunity to watch our video, the very first one that talked about the supply list, then it shows you how to make the colored glue. So if you have not seen that video yet, go ahead and watch that video. Take this and pause it. Watch that video. You can make the glue, and then once your glue has turned color, then you can go ahead and start this project. If you've got your glue ready to go because you've gone ahead and done your colored glue, grab your colored glue and a piece of cardstock paper that is longer, and we're going to go ahead and start our project so that it's going to be ready and look like this one for our Friday art. It's done with glue, so you have to do it early so that it will dry and be ready to go. Okay, guys? All right, so this is what you're going to do. Take your heavy stock paper that is longer on one end and shorter on the other. I like to do a ruler on the sides because that lets me know how close I'm going to go to the edges with glue. So I just take the width of the ruler and just draw a little bit of a line partway down each side. And I know that I'm not going to go past those corners. It's kind of my safety zone. So I get my colored glue, and you're going to draw a long horizontal line of glue on your paper. Now I'm not going to hold my glue way up here because that's going to make my line all shaky. Okay, you can't control it when it's up that high. I'm going to go right above my paper and try to make a nice straight line. You don't have to outline it with pencil or anything like that, but you do want to go from one edge of that line you drew to the other. I'm going to start with yellow. And you can see a nice thick line, but not too thick, not too thin either. All right, I've got my first box or line done. Let's go ahead and see if I got a purple ready to go. And what I'm going to do with this purple is I'm going to do half of it purple and half of it I'm going to do with my blue. Just because it's fun. Switch it up a little bit. Plus it wasn't coming out very good. There's my blue. Nice thick line. Let's get a little bit going on top of that. You want your lines to be thick enough so that when you hold your paper up, it's going to make it run down. Let's see if my orange is ready to go. These are just great ways to use markers. Now some of my markers are new markers when I make the glue. A lot of them I just use the old dried out markers. Instead of tossing your markers in the trash, you can open the end of them and pull that out, and it still's got a lot of great ink in it, ready to go. And I've got a nice red going there. All right, I'm gonna just go with 4. You can do 5 lines if you want. If your lines were closer together, you can do 5. I'm gonna put a little bit more on my yellow because I wanna make sure that that one's gonna run all the way. All right, now, I didn't go to the edges of my paper. I stopped right where I made my ruler line. Now you're gonna hold up your box and we're gonna watch them run. All right, guys, once your glue has dripped all the way down to where you want it to go, I like to always have one that's the longest and then let the other ones kind of come on down together. And if you notice partway through, I stopped and went ahead and put a little bit more glue. If it's not running enough, you can do that too. But it starts to blend and make some really neat designs and colors. That's gonna be great, and it will dry just like that. So mine is coming on down. You don't want it to run off your paper because you want to have enough space to go ahead and put a flower on there. So I'm just about where I'm going to have my paper go flat, and then they'll be ready for all the stems. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a lot of flowers that we're going to be working with tomorrow. So I'm going to let that go ahead and find a nice, safe, flat surface. Tomorrow, when you guys have your paper dry, ready to go, it'll be like this, and we'll be ready to start our flower baskets and come up with all kinds of beautiful colors that we're going to do together. Okay, guys? Thanks for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.